The Tales of the Laxdale Saga is brought to you by NotaProfit.org, the place on the internet to find spiritual guidance powered by artificial intelligence. The Laxdale Saga Part 10 Chapter LIX. Gudrun demands revenge for Bolli A.D. 1019 in Twin Month. That summer Gudrun, Osvif's daughter, went from home up into the dales. She rode to Thickshaw, and at this time Thorleik was sometimes at Thickshaw with the sons of Armod Halldor and Ornolf, and sometimes at Tung with Thorgils. The same night Gudrun sent a man to Snorri Godi, saying that she wished to meet him without fail the next day. Snorri got ready at once and rode with one other man until he came to Hawkdale River. On the northern side of that river stands a crag by the river called Head, within the land of Leash-Haw. At this spot Gudrun had bespoken that she and Snorri should meet. They both came there at one and the same time. With Gudrun there was only one man, and he was Bolli, son of Bolli. He was now 12 years old, but fulfilled of strength and wits was he, so much so, that many were they who were no whit more powerful at the time of ripe manhood, and now he carried foot-bitter. Snorri and Gudrun now fell to talking together, but Bolli and Snorri's follower sat on the crag and watched people travelling up and down the countryside. When Snorri and Gudrun had asked each other for news, Snorri inquired on what errand he was called, and what had come to pass lately, that she sent him word so hurriedly. Gudrun said, "Truth to tell, to me is ever fresh the event which I am about to bring up, and yet it befell 12 years ago, for it is about the revenge of Bolli I wish to speak, and it ought not to take you unawares. I have called it to your mind from time to time. I must also bring this home to you, that to this end you have promised me some help if I but waited patiently, but now I think it past hope that you will give any heed to our case. I have now waited as long as my temper would hold out, and I must have wholehearted counsel from you, as to where this revenge is to be brought home." Snorri asked what she chiefly had in her mind's eye. Gudrun said, "It is my wish that all Olaf's sons should not go scatheless." Snorri said he must forbid any onset on the men who were not only of the greatest account in the countryside, but also closely akin to those who stand nearest to back up the revenge, and it is high time already that these family feuds come to an end. Gudrun said, "Then Lamb, By shall be set upon and slain, for then he, who is the most eager of them for evil, would be put out of the way." Snorri said, "Lamb, By is guilty enough that he should be slain, but I do not think Bolli any the more revenged for that, for when at length peace should come to be settled, no such disparity between them would be acknowledged as ought to be due to Bolli, when the manslaughters of both should come up for award." Gudrun spoke, "It may be that we shall not get our right out of the men of Salmon, river, dale, but someone shall pay dear for it, whatever dale he may dwell in. So we shall turn upon Thorstein Black, for no one has taken a worse share in these matters than he." Snorri spake, "Thorstein's guilt against you is the same as that of the other men who joined in the raid against Bolli, but did not wound him. But you leave such men to sit by in quiet, on whom it seems to me revenge wrought would be revenge indeed, and who, moreover, did take the life of Bolli, such as was Helgi Hardbeinson." Gudrun said, "That is true, but I cannot be sure that, in that case, all these men against whom I have been stirring up enmity will sit quietly by doing nothing." Snorri said, "I see a good way to hinder that. Lambi and Thorstein shall join the train of your sons, and that is a fitting ransom for those fellows, Lambi and Thorstein. But if they will not do this, then I shall not plead for them to be let off, whatever penalty you may be pleased to put upon them." Gudrun spake, "How shall we set about getting these men that you have named to go on this journey?" Snorri spake, "That is the business of them who are to be at the head of the journey." Gudrun spake, "In this we must have your foresight as to who shall rule the journey and be the leader." Then Snorri smiled and said, "You have chosen your own man for it." Gudrun replied, "You are speaking of Thorgils." Snorri said so it was. Gudrun spake, "I have talked the matter over already with Thorgils, but now it is as good as all over, for he gave me the one choice, which I would not even look at. He did not back out of undertaking to avenge Bolli, if he could have me in marriage in return, but that is past all hope, so I cannot ask him to go this journey. Snorri spoke, On this I will give you a counsel, for I do not begrudge Thorgils this journey. You shall promise marriage to him, yet you shall do it in language of this double meaning, that of men. In this land you will marry none other but Thorgils, and that shall be holden to, for Thorkell Eyjolfson is not, for the time being, in this land, but it is he whom I have in my mind's eye, for this marriage. Gudrun spake, He will see through this trick. Snorri answered, Indeed he will not see through it, for Thorgils is better known for foolhardiness than wits. Make the covenant with but few men for witnesses, and let Halldor, his foster brother, be there, but not Ornolf, for he has more wits, and lay the blame on me, if this will not work out. After that they parted their talk, and each bade the other farewell, Snorri riding home, and Gudrun unto Thickshaw. The next morning Gudrun rode from Thickshaw and her sons with her, and when they ride west along Shost, and they see that men are riding after them, they ride on quickly and catch them up swiftly, and lo, there was Thorgils Hallason. They greeted each other well, and now ride on in the day all together, out to Hollafell. Chapter 11. The egging of Gudrun. Few nights after Gudrun had come home, she called her sons to her to have a talk with them in her orchard. And when they were come there, they saw how there were lying out some linen clothes, a shirt and linen breeches, and they were much stained with blood. Then spake Gudrun, These same clothes you see here cry to you for your father's revenge. I will not say many words on this matter, for it is past hope that you will heed an egging, on by words alone, if you bring not home to your minds such hints and reminders as these. The brothers were much startled at this, and at what Gudrun had to say, but yet this way they made answer, that they had been too young to seek for revenge without a leader. They knew not, they felt, how to frame a counsel for themselves or others either, but we might well bear in mind what we have lost. Gudrun said, they would be likely to give more thought to horse fights or sports. After that they went away. The next night the brothers could not sleep. Thorgils got aware of this, and asked them what was the matter. They told him all the talk they had had with their mother, and this withal, that they could no longer bear their grief or their mother's taunts. We will seek revenge, said Bolli, now that we brothers have come to so ripe an age that men will be much after us, if we do not take the matter in hand. The next day Gudrun and Thorgils had a talk together, and Gudrun started speaking in this wise. I am given to think, Thorgils, that my sons brook it ill to sit thus quietly on any longer without seeking revenge for their father's death. But what mostly has delayed the matter hitherto is, that up to now I deemed Thorleik and Bolli too young to be busy in taking men's lives, but need enough there has been to call this to mind a good long time before this. Thorgils answered, There is no use in your talking this matter over with me, because you have given a flat denial to walking with me marrying me. But I am in just the same frame of mind as I have been before, when we have had talks about this matter. If I can marry you, I shall not think twice about killing either or both of the two who had most to do with the murder of Bolli. Gudrun spoke, I am given to think that to Thorleik no man seems as well fitted as you to be the leader, if anything is to be done in the way of deeds of hardihood. Nor is it a matter to be hidden from you that the lads are minded to go for Helgi Hardbeinson, the berserk who sits at home in his house in Skorradale, misdoubting himself of nothing. Thorgils spake, I never care whether he is called Helgi or by any other name, for neither in Helgi nor in any one else do I deem I have an overmatch in strength to deal with. As far as I am concerned, the last word on this matter is now spoken, if you promise before witnesses to marry me, when, together with your sons, I have wreaked the revenge. Gudrun said she would fulfill all she should agree to, even though such agreement were come to, before few men to witness it. And, said she, this then we shall settle to have done. Gudrun bade be called thither Halldor, Thorgils' foster brother, and her own sons. Thorgils bade that Ornolf should also be with them. Gudrun said there was no need of that, for I am more doubtful of Ornolf's faithfulness to you than I think you are yourself. Thorgils told her to do as she liked. Now the brothers come and meet Gudrun and Thorgils. Halldor being also at the parley with them. Gudrun now sets forth to them that Thorgils has said he will be the leader in this raid against Helgi Hardbeinson, together with my sons, for revenge of Bolli, and Thorgils has bargained in return for this undertaking to get me for wife. Now I avow with you to witness that I promise this to Thorgils, that of men in this land I shall marry none but him, and I do not purpose to go and marry in any other land. Thorgils thought that this was binding enough, and did not see through it, and now they broke up their talk. This counsel is now fully settled, that Thorgils must betake himself to this journey. He gets ready to leave Hallafell, and with him the sons of Gudrun, and they rode up into the dales, and first to the homestead at Tung. Chapter Lexi, of Thorstein the Black and Lamb. By the next Lord's Day a leet was held, and Thorgils rode thither with his company. Snorri Godi was not at the leet, but there was a great many people together. During the day Thorgils fetched up Thorstein the Black for a talk with him, and said, as you know, you were won in the onset by the sons of Olaf when Bolli was slain, and you have made no atonement for your guilt to his sons. Now, although a long time is gone since those things befell, I think their mind has not given the slip to the men who were in that raid. Now, these brothers look in this light upon the matter, that it beseems them least, by reason of kinship, to seek revenge on the sons of Olaf, and so the brothers purpose to turn for revenge upon Helgi Hardbeinson, for he gave Bolli his death wound. So we ask this of you, Thorstein, that you join in this journey with the brothers, and thus purchase for yourself peace and goodwill. Thorstein replied, it beseems me not at all to deal in treason with Helgi my brother-in-law, and I would far rather purchase my peace with as much money as it would be to their honor to take. Thorgils said, I think it is but little to the mind of the brothers to do aught herein for their own gain, so you need not hide it away from yourself, Thorstein, that at your hands there lie two choices, either to betake yourself to this journey, or to undergo the harshest of treatments from them as soon as they may bring it about, and my will is that you take this choice in spite of ties that bind you to Helgi, for when men find themselves in such straits, each must look after himself. Thorstein spake, will the same choice be given to more of the men who are charged with guilt by the sons of Bolli? Thorgils answered, the same choice will be put to Lambi. Thorstein said he would think better of it, if he was not left the only one in this plight. After that, Thorgils called Lambi to come and meet him, and bade Thorstein listen to their talk. He said, I wish to talk over with you, Lambi, the same matter that I have set forth to Thorstein, to wit, what amends you are willing to make to the sons of Bolli for the charges of guilt which they have against you, for it has been told me as true that you wrought wounds on Bolli. But besides that, you are heavily guilt beset, in that you urged it hard that Bolli should be slain. Yet, next to the sons of Olaf, you were entitled to some excuse in the matter. Then Lambi asked what he would be asked to do. Thorgils said the same choice would be put to him as to Thorstein, to join with the brothers in this journey. Lambi said, this I think an evil price of peace, and a dastardly one, and I have no mind for this journey. Then said Thorstein, it is not the only thing open to view, Lambi, to cut so quickly away from this journey. For in this matter great men are concerned, men of much worth moreover, who deem that they have long had to put up with an unfair lot in life. It is also told me of Bolli's sons that they are likely to grow into men of high mettle, and that they are exceeding masterful, but the wrong they have to wreak is great. We cannot think of escaping from making some amends after such awful deeds. I shall be the most open to people's reproaches for this, by reason of my alliance with Helgi. But I think most people are given to setting all aside for life, and the trouble on hand that presses hardest must first be thrust out of the way. Lambi said, it is easy to see what you urge to be done, Thorstein, and I think it well befitting that you have your own way in this matter, if you think that is the only way you see open, for ours has been a long partnership in great troubles. But I will have this understood, if I do go into this business, that my kinsmen, the sons of Olaf, shall be left in peace if the revenge on Helgi shall be carried out. Thorgils agreed to this on behalf of the brothers. So now it was settled that Lambi and Thorstein should betake themselves to the journey with Thorgils, and they bespoke it between them that they should come early on the third day, Tuesday, one tongue in Hord, Dale. After that they parted. Thorgils rode home that evening to Tongue. Now passes on the time within which it was bespoken they should come to Tongue. In the morning of the third day, Tuesday, before sunrise, Thorstein and Lambi came to Tongue, and Thorgils gave them a cheerful welcome. Chapter LZI. Thorgils and his followers leave home. Thorgils got himself ready to leave home, and they all rode up along Hord, Dale, 10 of them together. Thorgils Hallason was the leader of the band. In that train were the sons of Bolli, Thorleik and Bolli, and Thord the cat, their brother, was the fourth. The fifth was Thorstein the Black, the sixth Lambi, the seventh and eighth Halldor and Ornolf, the ninth Svein, and the 10th Hunbogi. Those last were the sons of Alf O'Dales. They rode on their way up to Sweeping Pass, and across Long Waterdale, and then right across Bergfirth. They rode across North River at Isleford, but across White River at Bankford, a short way down from the homestead of By. Then they rode over Reekdale, and over the neck of land to Scorodale, and so up through the wood in the neighbourhood of the farmstead of Water Nook, where they got off their horses, as it was very late in the evening. The homestead of Water Nook stands a short way from the lake on the south side of the river. Thorgils said to his followers that they must tarry there overnight, and I will go to the house and spy, and see if Helgi be at home. I am told Helgi has at most times very few men with him, but that he is of all men the wariest of himself, and sleeps in a strongly made lock bed. Thorgils' followers bade him follow his own foresight. Thorgils now changed his clothes, and took off his blue cloak, and slipped on a grey foul weather overall. He went home to the house. When he was come near to the home field fence, he saw a man coming to meet him, and when they met Thorgils said, "You will think my question strange, comrade, but whose am I come to in this countryside, and what is the name of this dwelling, and who lives here?" The man answered, "You must be indeed a wondrous fool and wit bereft, if you have heard Helgi Hardbeinson spoken of, the bravest of warriors, and a great man withal." Thorgils next asked how far Helgi took kindly to unknown people coming to see him, such as were in great need of help. He replied, in that matter, if truth is told, only good can be said of Helgi, for he is the most large-hearted of men, not only in giving harbour to comers, but also in all his high conduct. "Otherwise, is Helgi at home now?" asked Thorgils. "I should like to ask him to take me in." The other then asks what matters he had on his hands. Thorgils answered, "I was outlawed this summer at the Thing, and I want to seek for myself the help of some such man as is a mighty one of his hands and ways, and I will in return offer my fellowship and service. So now you take me home to the house to see Helgi." "I can do that very well, to show you home," he said, "for you will be welcome to quarters for the night, but you will not see Helgi, for he is not at home." Then Thorgils asked where he was. The man answered, "He is at his out, dairy called Sarp." Thorgils asked where that was, and what men were with him. He said his son Hardbein was there, and 2 other men, both outlaws, whom he had taken in to shelter. Thorgils bade him show the nearest way to the dairy, "For I want to meet Helgi at once, when I can get to him, and plead my errand to him." The house Karl did so, and showed him the way, and after that they parted. Thorgils returned to the wood to his companions, and told them what he had found out about Helgi. "We must tarry here through the night, and not go to the dairy till tomorrow morning." They did as he ordained, and in the morning Thorgils and his band rode up through the wood till they were within a short way from the dairy. Then Thorgils bade them get off their horses and eat their morning meal, and so they did, and stayed there for a while.